You, oh,
Yes.
hey, golly, I'm having none.
I'm so excited for this live video, Dr. Jerry. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, everybody. What's
Hello,
going on?
everyone.
Jasmine Atton, Mystic at the Crossroads, your favorite witch. And today I have the pleasure of being in front of one of the most incredible men that I have ever had the pleasure of even being around and meeting. Physician, OBGYN, surgeon, world-renowned shaman, healer of the earth, keeper of the God molecule, shaman of the plant medicine, Dr. Gerry. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for thank you so much for having me. It's a true honor to be here with you.
Yes, yes. I have been singing your name from the top of the mountains for months since my ceremony with you. And a lot of people have been asking me tons of questions just about the transformation, really trying to understand what this medicine is, and just get a better understanding of how this medicine can help and heal. So that's why I really wanted to come to you, the man of the hour, so we could really go in firsthand and answer some of these questions for people.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So first and foremost, if you can just give us a little bit of your background, where are you from? I know that you're a physician, and what brought you on your journey? How did you get led to healing, shamanism, and just natural medicines?
Well, my path started very, very young. I was only 13 years old, and I started having this repeated dream. I was dreaming that I was walking in the desert and that I was eating peyote. And by that age, I had barely knowledge of plant medicines. I was very attracted to the native traditions of my ancestors. And of course, after having this repeated dream, I just went to my father's office, opened the encyclopedia, and started looking about peyote. And the first sentence, Native American plant, sacred plant used by the natives during their ceremonies to contact the spiritual world. And I'm like, whoa. So it was calling me. And of course, I was very young. And so I had to tell my parents that I was going to spend the night at my neighbor's. And I just rushed to the bus station and I just went to the desert. I had a beautiful spiritual awakening very young. When I was in the desert and I had contact with the sacred medicine, it was a huge deja vu. I knew with all myself that I was born to become a doctor. So thanks to that spiritual experience in the desert, I basically bounced back to medicine school. I got my MD, and actually living in the desert, I had the chance to travel to South Mexico, and I had the encounter with the sacred mushroom, and that just confirmed everything. I just saw it, and so thanks to the peyote and the mushroom, I felt that I had a huge depth. I needed to learn more about them. So as soon as I got my MD, I became the local doctor of the mushroom village in South Mexico. And it was just beautiful to see, yeah, how nature uses its brews to heal us. And it was there living in San Jose del Pacifico, that's the name of the village. 15 years ago, the toad came to me. Some guys from the Bay Area were doing some mushrooms and they came to my medical office and they asked if I had any knowledge about DMT, which I had. I was like, yeah, that's the active component of ayahuasca. And he's like, have you ever had it? And I was like, no, like, I'm curious though. And they're like, would you like to try some DMT? And I'm like, sure. So there is me, in the mountains, closing my office. We go to the forest and I'm hitting the pipe for the first time. Oh my God. I usually take a lot of plant medicines to reach that level of awareness, but finding something that with just one puff, boom, I'm in source. I'm face to face with God. I am, I am experiencing death and coming back. And I was just like 18 years. I was very young when I experienced the thought for the first time. I was mind blown. I came back from such a singularity in complete awe. And I look at the guy and he goes like, I tell him like, this is the toad, right? And they go like, yep, that's the toad. And I'm like, wow, like I found it. I found, that light that people talk about God in church and, and religions and stuff, but that was actually the first time I felt God's grace. I felt him. And it was such a profound experience that I was like, I'm going to dedicate my life to spreading this light and love. So that's how it all began. And now it's
That
been 15 years, over 7,000 ceremonies, in over 40 countries around the world.
that is absolutely amazing. So for a lot of people, this is very new to them. Of course, now people are moving more towards the holistic healing. They're looking for alternative ways to heal the body, to heal the mind, to heal the spirit. So can you give us, or just kind of really break down a little bit, what an entheogen is and how, what the benefits are, and why someone who's looking for divine, not just enlightenment, but just overall physical healing, how that can benefit?
Well, um, back in the day, they would call them psychedelics, right? But and that term was, I think, wrongfully coined because etymologically, psychedelic refers to any substance capable of generating mind psychosis. So we had to draw a line, and it was Jonathan Ott, I believe, the one who came up with the term entheogen. And entheogen refers to a substance capable of generating God within the self. So that puts certain plants in a very unique category. If we talk about entheogens nowadays, we're talking about mushrooms, we're talking about ayahuasca, we're talking about peyote, we're talking about toad, DMT, changa, um, yeah, especially. These are the most important. LSD at certain doses can become
Mhm.
entheogenic. So these practically 7 substances that I just mentioned are the most known entheogens. And these substances have a huge potential because not only because of how they work, but because of aftermath, the aftermath. These substances are really connecting us with spirit. They're really doing deep core healing. They're connecting the brain in ways we've never been connected before. I'm going to make an analogy. The movie Lucy,
Mhm.
and I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, that they found this drug that could use the brain's 100% potential. In a very similar manner, entheogens are connecting the brain, are, yeah, pretty much connecting us with source through these means. And we now know, I mean, we're still in diapers in this matter because we're just throwing out light on what they're doing to us. But the more we're studying, the more we're learning from them, it's fascinating. The potential is limitless. They're huge aids in healing depression, hard drug addictions, and all these pathological states that are keeping us away from our true light, from living our true purpose. So, in a nutshell.
So, is it safe to say, I mean, my personal kind of viewpoint of it is because we all know we're all emanations of God, we're all emanations of the Creator. Anything that's living, a plant, anything is a little piece of God within itself. So, to me, this is taking you back to source, the Creator that can heal all, which one has acquired during this physical existence, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And I feel like it's like psychotherapy to on a 100 times 100. Or a lot of people, I think, try to meditate and do kundalini breathing and do yoga, and they smoke weed and they do all these different things, but they may subconsciously or unconsciously be trying to reach a level of expansion that only these types of medicines can give you. Is that correct?
That is completely correct, Sister Jasmine. Yes.
Okay, beautiful. So if you can tell us what's the difference a little bit in, let's say, mushrooms, because when I say mushrooms to people, people's mind automatically defaults to, oh, no, 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 I don't want to hallucinate type of thing. And I know that that comes with doses, but can you give us the difference in maybe mushrooms and ayahuasca and how beneficial both of these are to the healing process?
Well, specifically, mushrooms and ayahuasca are nature's source of natural DMT compounds. Uh,
Okay.
these are both, I'm going to talk about mushrooms first. Mushrooms, they call them magic mushrooms because the active component, it's a DMT molecule called 4-phosphoryl DMT. And this is nature's organic DMT accessible for us. And of course, like you say, it's dose dependent. Basically, Shulgin made a category list for the entheogenic state, and he puts it in 4 levels. Level 1 means that you have a mind-altering compound in which there's going to be shift of reality, but yet you'll still be able to do daily chores. No, then there's level 2, in which the visions become a bit more powerful. You can even have them with your eyes closed or eyes open. And on a level 2, you are pretty much incapable of answering the phone or having a logic conversation with someone because, of course, you're a bit, more sensitive. Level 3, there's just no way you're gonna interact with this reality. You are fully submerged in another dimension. It can, purging can happen. You can see spiritual beings. This is a level 3, and most people reach that level, and they're like, boom, that's it, no? But level 4 would be the pure entheogenic state, and it's of course dose dependent. Once we reach level 4, we basically have a religious experience, a very powerful spiritual experience in which ego is completely dissolved and we're only aware of source. There's no time, there's no space, and it is a very unique state that it is equivalent to what the ancients and mystics call nirvana, the Tao, the Zen, the mind at large. All these terms coin exactly that level, that there is this huge interconnectedness in which we're all connected. There is one single being, and yeah.
Okay, that's the beautiful explanation. And so with ayahuasca, I know they both have DMT. Does ayahuasca and mushrooms give you the similar experience, or is it different?
Well, they can take you to the same spot, dose dependent as well. The difference between ayahuasca is that, well, you see, DMT normally is not absorbed through the body. Our basal state of awareness prevents us. It's almost like a self-mechanism defense in which our self is going to keep us in this reality. So if we expose ourselves to DMT, our gut, all of our intestine, all of our digestive tract is filled with an enzyme that will degrade and destroy the DMT. And this is a self-mechanism so that we stay in this reality, so to speak. Ayahuasca, the drink itself, it's mainly composed of two things. One is a plant that's going to block that enzyme from destroying the medicine. And of course, the second is the medicine itself. So when you drink ayahuasca, you're letting your body open so that the DMT can take over and you can have that experience. So basically, that is how ayahuasca works. And they're both entheogens. They're both, they both have the capacity to launch you into that spiritual plane.
Okay. So, of course, you know what my next question is going to be is with the experience what I had in ceremony with you with the Bufo alvarius. And from my understanding and my own experience, that's like the top of the top of the top. You can't get any closer to the creator, I believe, unless you physically exit this body permanently. So can you give us a little bit, because I'm so fascinated at this medicine, being a natural medicine, coming from a toad. Can you talk a little bit about that? Especially, I know a lot of people have asked me how it's collected and how the toad is treated when the medicine is collected.
Right. Well, yeah, this is fascinating. It was not until late 60s that we identified that there is a toad only in Mexico and in Southwest America, which is basically the Sonoran Desert. And this toad has on its venom sacs the God molecule, which is 5-MeO-DMT. And curiously, it's a toad that lives in the desert, a place where there's hardly any water, very, very hot. I mean, the Sonoran Desert is a very hostile environment. It can go in the summer up to 110, 120. It's very, very hostile. Yet in this environment, a toad, an amphibian, lives there, spends 9 months when it's not the summer. Right now, he's sleeping in deep, deep sleep. And we can only see this toad for a very brief period of time, in a window of 2 or 3 months in the summer. This is when the monsoon comes and it rains. And it is not until the thunder and lightning start to appear that they wake up from this slumber sleep and they come out to eat, to reproduce, and to have access to this medicine. Um, this is fascinating by itself, like how the medicine is found. And of course, once we see these toads, we don't hurt the animals. We basically and very humbly extract the medicine from its venom glands. The way I do it is I basically milk the toad from its glands, from the larger glands to extract the medicine, but I don't empty the whole glands. I like to leave him with some because that's the toad's self-defense mechanism. If a predator tries to attack the toad, then it'll express the glands, the venom is going to come out, and of course the predator is going to be limited and he can run away. So of course people think, do we hurt the animals? No, not at all. Actually, it's fascinating because as soon as I first milk the first toad and I let him down, he starts to call everyone, and you can see that process. They cluck like little chickens, like cluck, 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 and he starts talking and relaxing everyone. And you can see because the females, once they're in stress, they puff themselves with air, no? And you can see that the female starts to deflate, almost like the guy's telling him, "Hey, it's Gerry. Like relax. We're not gonna die." And when I'm done, they're all staring at me. They're like, "Hey," like they don't run away or stuff. They're there, and it's just fascinating. Now I'm proudly the owner of a piece of land in the Sonoran Desert where there's the most toads per square meter in the Sonoran Desert. And I'm trying to build a sanctuary for them. Last year, I managed to build some pools for them, for the females to put the eggs, and they loved it. So yeah, this is pretty much how I access the medicine. So going back to the extraction method, so basically it's like a pimple. You take the venom gland very carefully, you express it. The medicine is going to squirt out pretty much like a fan manner, and it's pretty sticky, pretty sticky. So there has to be a collecting dish or surface where the medicine, so that basically a friend of mine is holding the glass, I'm holding the toad, put it under the glass, I squeeze the glands, the medicine expresses itself, and by the next morning, due to the heat, it'll be completely dry. I just scrape it off, and that's it. There is no extraction involved, no chemical process that I need to add or nothing. This is Mother Nature's brew. The only thing I touch is the toad, and and I just scrape the medicine. I don't interfere with the process, and yeah, this is pretty much how.
Wow. So how come it's collected and dried and then smoked? Somebody can't just take a little bit off their finger and put it under their tongue and have the same experience?
There was this urban myth of the psychedelic toad that you need to lick the toad, and then pretty much I think we all saw The Simpsons of seeing Homer licking these toads. No, don't do that at home, guys. Fresh venom has a whole bunch of compounds that are dangerous. That's why they call it venom. And if it's ingested in sufficient amounts, it can have a negative effect on the heart. Of course, you would have to eat a lot. Like it wouldn't kill a human being. It doesn't even kill a dog. I've seen dogs who are dumb enough to attack the toad, and they might just like be immobilized for a few minutes, and then they go back and stuff. But yeah, do not ingest it. It is not active this way. It has to be dried, and it can only be vaporized. It needs a high temperature device like a torch lighter, and of course, this medicine must not have straight contact with the flame because it will be destroyed. So we use a vaporizing device like a glass pipe so that it can just heat up and produce this vapor that we're going to inhale to have that process.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So, and I just want to go back really quickly when you said that you're building a sanctuary for them and you've created a space for the females to lay their eggs, which is amazing because we all know that the climate is changing. And that was my next question is the earth going to be able to sustain the toads reproducing? I mean, are they going to run out at some point? Is it, this medicine is very vital. Is there enough toads producing this medicine for the people that truly need it to have access to it?
Yes, Jasmine, you're right. Unfortunately, there's a few factors that are affecting negatively to the toads. And one of them is our human demographic explosion. We are pretty much changing the desert environment to concrete buildings and stuff, and we're affecting the toads. We're polluting the local rivers because there's a lot of mining involved in Sonora. And of course, they're throwing all these poisons to the river. And of course, the toads are reducing in numbers. But the most threat these toads have is the extraction of them from their natural habitat to be taken outward somewhere else. Now that we found the toad, now that we found the medicine, we have this very wrongful attitude that we must have it, that we must control it. We must have all these toads home. And I've met countless stupid people that go to the desert, grab these toads, and take them back home. Guys, don't do that. You're affecting a very unique animal that it's proven. They have an inner GPS system that helps them, locate themselves, and it's less than 2 miles. So if you take a toad out of a 2 mile radius, you're messing with him seriously. The stress that you're going to produce on him. By the way, these animals were not meant to be in captivity, to be kept under captivity, and it's pretty sad. There's even rich people that have come to me and they show off like, yeah, I bought like 200 toads and took them to Greece and I have them in this island. And I'm just like, oh my God. And then, and of course, the more you find out, it's like the medicine will not be the same. If you take a toad from its house and you feed him with something else, of course, the quality and the physical appearance of the medicine will never be the same. And it's sad. It's really sad because it is. I've seen this pattern with other medicines, with the peyote, or with the ayahuasca, that they're overcutting, that they all want it, and it's a very sick pattern. Not to mention like other stuff that have, snowballed negatively against the toads. The toads grow in a very sensitive area, which is the Sonoran Desert, which is the borderland between the U.S. and Mexico. So this is a very high conflict zone. There's a lot of drugs and guns going, and that's exactly where the toads are. Sadly, I spent New Year's Eve at my ranch, my Bufo Ranch, and it was so sad to see the miscommunication that's been going on nowadays in Sonora. People actually think we're making crystal meth out of the toads, the locals. That's like the new gossip. So police are now hunting toad collectors. They're putting tourists that are hunting the toads in jail and charging them for amphetamine extraction. And this is just like one side. And then you have the drug cartel who found out about the toad, that found out that the medicine is now being sold way more expensive than cocaine and all these drugs. And now they want to seize and control it. So it's really sad what's happening nowadays in Sonora. It's not looking nice and optimistic for the toads in any way. Hence the importance of doing something about it. So after 15 years of scouting the Sonoran Desert, I managed to find the zone where most of the toads are. I managed to finally buy a piece of land there. And what I'm trying to do is secure these toads. My land, there's around 3,000 toads now. And yeah, my mission is to protect them, definitely.
Yes. Yes, that's amazing what you're doing. Can you give us just a brief rundown of some of the ailments that the 5-MeO can, forgive me, I don't know if this is a safe word to use or not, but from my experience, can cure, because it has cured some things for me, both mentally and emotionally. I feel like this would be something for someone that has maybe suffered some sort of trauma. This would be helpful for someone that's, if you're even just looking for enlightenment.
Any sort of trauma.
Okay, yeah. What can this? What would be the ideal person, or what can this heal?
Well, it's proven that this medicine, besides healing the soul, the mind, it has a very positive effect on the body. It is a huge anti-inflammatory compound. People who are dealing with autoimmune disorders, with huge inflammation and pain, they will benefit from a single exposure. A single exposure of toad medicine will put them in ease and remission-free for up to 1 month. So that's the anti-inflammatory effect. Mentally speaking, it will bring balance to your brain. It will completely refill all your dopamine levels, all your serotonin levels, your beta endorphin levels. These are the brain's drugs, so to speak, that make us happy, fulfilled and stuff. Depressed people have very low levels of serotonin. Addict people have depleted their dopamine from their brains. So this imbalance is what puts them on that suffering state. Toad medicine will bring balance to that, will put ease at your brain, will refill your neurotransmitters. And that's just on a physical level. On the soul level, it will heal you. It will remove all trauma. This medicine has proven to be the largest or biggest releasing agent. Through this experience, we're able to release, to be freed from all the karmic influences that we've been carrying ancestrally. Toad medicine will completely chop down from the core any sort of trauma. I mean, this is just amazing. And we're talking about in a 20-minute frame experience, because this is how long the experience lasts. Once you take the medicine, you'll be pretty much back after 20 minutes. So nothing that we've found so far compares to the power, to the healing power, through the true healing power of the toad.
I agree 1000%. And it was the most humbling experience that I had. And I do feel like, and I've done a lot of work on myself, and I don't feel like I've had a lot of experiences that other people have had, but it brought up and released some things that I didn't even know I was holding on to. And I say this, and I don't say it to be cliche, but ever since my ceremony with you, my life has changed. And not that it was bad before or anything like that, but the miracles, and that's all I can really equate them to, is the miracles that have been produced from just that one session. You know, they call it the God molecule, which is also the title of your book, I believe.
Yes, yes.
Yes, congratulations. That is something definitely, and I just want to ask you really quickly, where do we get your book from? Because I know I want to order one. Where does everybody who's watching order your book?
Well, you can just Google the God molecule and you can find it in eBay or Amazon, have the Kindle version.
Okay, very, very, very good. So I have a couple of other questions that I'm curious about. One, what's the difference between, and I may answer this myself because I know LSD, but that's more of a, is that a synthetic or that's a chemical? That's not natural, is that correct? Or what's the difference between the 5-MeO and LSD?
Well, LSD, commonly known as acid, it's extracted from a nature compound, from a fungus that grows on rye. Yeah, and it's called ergot, this fungus. And through means of purification, that's how they extract the LSD. So the source originally was from nature, but we also found that you could extract it synthetically from these migraine pills and stuff, which comes from the same fungus. But yeah, basically LSD has to be chemically synthesized. It has to be extremely purified so that you can have access to pure LSD. Whereas 5-MeO DMT can only be found in nature, on the toad, and around a couple of plants from the Amazon basin. And sadly, now it's being also synthesized chemically, 5-MeO DMT, from chemical compounds, like from 5-methoxyindole and stuff. They're now synthesizing 5-MeO DMT. And that's sad, because this is also the human response. Not like we find some medicine in nature and we want to isolate it, replicate it, pack it, ship it, tag it with a price, and sell it. That's big pharma. That's what they've been doing all along. And I'm going to share you a little story. When I was a few years ago, when I was spreading my work through the globe, I was invited by in a psychedelic convention in San Francisco by MAPS. We all know MAPS, you know, the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies. They summoned me to give a talk, but the condition for me to give this talk was that I should aim and end the talk convincing everyone that we should aim towards synthetic. And I was like, whoa. And actually, if you, they did a video, a documentary about my work and about the medicine in a series called Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia. So if you just type in YouTube, the psychedelic toad, you're going to see the link to Hamilton's show. It's a very interesting show. You're going to see I give medicine to 3 different people, And the people have a unique experience. Each person has their own experience. And said that they didn't wrongfully turn to the video. At the end, they used my words and they edited my words. And you can clearly see that because I never said it, you know? And so they made it so that I'm saying that we should aim towards synthetic. And that is not the way. I've been always been vouching for Mother Nature. People ask me, what is the difference between synthetic and 5-MeO and toad medicine? So just, to educate the people, toad medicine, yes, the active compound is 5-MeO DMT, but only in a very specific amount. It's around 15 to 20%, depending on the season. The rest of the toad medicine formula are 20 compounds, out of which 12 are unknown tryptamines. Tryptamines are the molecule types that are present in entheogens. So most of the entheogens are tryptamines, and that's just a chemical term. But it is fascinating to see that, obviously.
It absolutely is. And yeah, I've been hearing about the synthetic 5-MeO DMT, and I feel like exactly what you said, especially with the FDA. And because you have a background in medicine, that so now they want to create this synthetic 5-MeO DMT, which essentially anytime there's a healer or a shaman or someone who comes and has a mission to truly heal the world with natural substances freely, because you could be back in a hospital, delivering babies, but you've dedicated yourself to help people have this experience. It's very disappointing, and it's a little scary, because with that comes side effects, and with that comes who knows what can happen when they're taking this natural medicine. And then essentially, healers like you, if it's safe to say, they don't want to shine a very bright light because they want to take it and steal it for themselves.
I know, sister. That is so sad. I was victim of some accusations early last year, and it was interesting to see that people that have reached out to me in these 15 years to be my assistants and to work for me and stuff, I saw their true colors, and they only wanted to get access to the medicine because they thought they could do it better than me, or they wanted to control it. And obviously, as I saw their true colors, I immediately shut them off and just kept focusing on my work. This put these people in such an envious and hateful energy that my friends took away my own Facebook group, which I had more than 2,000 followers. They kicked me out of my own group. Then they changed the name of my group to Buffo Gangsters. And then they started coming up with all these accusations, with the worst thing thinkable. I'm an OBGYN, okay? I deliver babies. I am the women's doctor. So they came up with the worst accusations about me and my work, things that I am putting heroin on the medicine, that I am raping women. I mean, just a heads up. I am a women's doctor. I don't need to be involved in spiritual work to get access to women. I am,
right.
I've seen, I've treated thousands of women in their most vulnerable time, when they're giving birth, when we're doing, surgery and stuff. I don't know. It was just like, what? What are they saying? That I'm raping women? That I am putting drugs, hard drugs, and making people addict to my work? Like, that's just a bunch of nonsense. And it's clearly that once you become a light beacon, once you work for spirit and the light that I serve, darkness is not going to be just waiting, and they're going to pull me out. And eventually they did. They managed to find all these haters and envious people and they came up with all these accusations to put me out of the game. I was invited to the first Buffo conference, and then 3 days before it started, they uninvited me because of all these things. And it is so sad. At the end of the day, it's sort of racism against. I'm just going to share what I feel from what I felt in these months. It is not easy being a Mexican, being brown, and being the carrier of the most sacred medicine on the planet. Clearly, white folks are having a huge issue on this. And we've seen this pattern, sister. Don't get me wrong. we've seen it through history. It's been more than 1,000, I think 1,500 years of abuse, rape, stealing, killing people. And this is all, coming from the devil itself. The devil manifested into all these supremacy movements and stuff. And yeah, it's so sad. It's so sad. It is too low vibration, to be honest. My work it's so fulfilling for me that it has all my attention. And that's why, I look at them and I'm like, well, good luck. You can try and shut the sun with one finger, but at the end, you're not going to shut us off.
I agree. Well, I mean, you're truly doing God's work. That's why it's called the God molecule, and you've been blessed to become the keeper of this. And for those that are trying to assassinate your character, there's a candle for that. That can easily be taken care of. And I don't say that to be facetious, but when you are doing good work and you are trying to help people and you are trying to really heal the world, there are dark forces, dark energies out there that will come for you, and they will say things and they will create rumors and they will make lies and they will talk about you simply because they do not want this healing energy. Because if people start to heal and people start to elevate their consciousness, then the whole system is going to change, and darkness will not be able to continue to run the world, and that's what they're trying to stop.
All the people that accuse me are now toad facilitators, curiously. And if obviously they have not done the medicine, because if you do the medicine humbles you enough. The medicine will kill your ego. And when you're under the effect of such a sacred medicine, the only room and space there is for love, light, forgiveness. And what's coming out from them, it's exactly the opposite. So they're just showing their true colors. And it's sad. It's really sad.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Well, if that problem continues, you let me know. I got you. Let's take a couple of really quick questions. There's some questions that are being posted. I know that you're in Atlanta now, and you're going to be holding ceremony, I believe, what is it, the 25th and 26th of this month?
From the 24th to the 26th, we have scheduled ceremonies here in Atlanta. Needless to say, I'm going to be here all this time in Atlanta, just in case people calendar-wise are unable to attend on this weekend. They can come earlier to have the experience. Then I'm going to be in Dallas, Texas, after Atlanta. And yeah.
So how do people, how do they register for the 24th to the 26th? And if somebody would like to do ceremony with you before then, how do they get in contact with you for that?
Okay. I can be reached easily at bufoalvariostoads@gmail.com, or you can just log into my website, which is toadmedicine.org. Either way. Okay.
I'm going to put that in the chat comment so people can, toadmedicine.org. .org. Okay, so for everybody that's watching, I'm going to put that in the comments so you guys can take a look at it. Let's see. Let me go through the questions really quickly and see if there's anything that anyone was asking that we didn't cover. Okay, so I guess your schedule, so that's on the website, what other cities you're going to be in? Okay. My question, I'm going to be a little selfish, is when are you coming back to LA?
As soon as possible. I think I'm going to be in LA before March, that's for sure.
Okay.
March.
Okay, because I know, I was mentioning to Coach K last night, like I would love to be able to host a ceremony here, but I understand you have to have a number of 10 people signed up to come to a city?
That is correct. In order for you guys, if you want me to fly to your place, then I ask for at least 10 participants that are willing to have the ceremony with me, along with the plane ticket and a secure venue for my work.
Okay.
Those are my conditions, just in case anybody out there wants to bring me into their city.
Okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure that can happen with all the people watching. And I mean, for anyone to not want to have this experience. And like I shared in my original video, and there's some people that are new and just seeing this for the first time, I literally watched that Vice series about 12.5 times. And I was incredibly just in awe of who you were before the universe even brought you into my life. I mean, if I could have crawled through the TV and gave you a hug because I'm like, yes, this is what people need. This is what I need, and had no way of knowing where to even go about finding it. So I want to say to everybody who's watching, if you've been wondering, is toad medicine for you? If you've been questioning whether or not the time is right, if you're watching this video right now, then the time is right. That's I always say things manifest and show up in your life when you're ready for them. And I don't know that there's any real mental preparation. I tried to prepare myself for days for the experience, and there's no way to prepare yourself. You just have to go into it. And for me, it was wonderful. It was the best thing I could have ever done. Hands down. And yeah, it's definitely been life changing. So let's see. I don't see really too many questions here.
Hold on. Yeah, look at the coach. Yeah, coach. If y'all talk about the thievery yet?
We did. And I already told Gerry, I got a candle for that. Like, I don't play with people that I love now. Cemetery is a hop, skipping, and way down the street. I got coffins up in the drawer.
It's okay. We just gonna turn it. We just gonna make sure the indigenous hold on to what's indigenous. You see what I'm saying? Watch out for them synthetics. Of course, that's history. In history, they always attack the character of the person holding the medicine. So you're dealing with the real deal, right? But not because I've been to Mexico. I've been to the ranches. I've seen it myself. We arranging some trips to Mexico this year for 2020, okay? As well as the cruise that we're gonna do for the astrology and the magic, okay? So we're not even playing with y'all, not even a little bit, okay? So like
it's coming.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Don't let these opportunities, because that's what happens. They come and they see the indigenous. Why do you think God gave it to the indigenous cultures in the first place? You see what I'm saying? Because that's where he wanted it to be at. He wanted people to come there not to get it exploited or for it to be stolen, but that's just, that's what happens. And then they turn around, they start getting jealous and all this other type of stuff and start shooting shots, right? So we ain't gonna shoot shots back to people over sour grapes, as Kalinde calls it. You know what I'm saying? There's so many women out here misusing the whole Me Too movement. Listen, when you on told, can't nobody be dealing with you or nothing like that. And who would want to? He's a gynecologist. You know what I'm saying? You know how many coochies he done seen where he got to wait for you to get on some toad? This is a hot Mexican. You know what I'm saying? There's women all over him all the time. So when you hear people start talking about really ludicrous stories and stuff like that, they have an agenda because they're trying to eliminate and character assassinate the true and living holders of the medicine so they can come over here and try to make a duplicate. Well, we got the synthetic. Did you tell them about how they made you the offer?
Oh, yeah.
For the kilo?
I did mention that.
They try to give them, they want to give them a kilo of synthetic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you didn't tell them that?
No, Hamilton, that was Hamilton's negotiation afterwards. Like, I'll give you a kilo of synthetic, But at the end they did. They edited my words, and you see the video, and no, that's not my card. That's not my cup of tea, definitely. And I think it is important to expose these fiends because they can just go open profiles and go under different names, but people should know who these dark beings are, and they call themselves toad facilitators. So Paul Nipper, Spela Laela, Shvedko, Anje Plasnik or Sapuro Ancestralis, Shannon Kepster, Garrick Hunt, Ethereal Hope from LA. Beware of these people. And Stephen Morlock from London. These are the 7 people that we should be aware. And we should expose also Lorna Lee, because she's leading all these things into that we should aim towards synthetic and that they want to control the toad medicine and stuff. People should see their true colors. So I said the names already.
Well, I'm keeping it. I want to only the natural, only the God molecule, and the only person that I trust to have ceremony with is you. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I know you're a very busy man. You have a lot of things to do. I appreciate you taking this time out to come sit with us. I've been trying to get you on here for months. This was amazing. I did see some comments of some people saying that they are going to sign up for Atlanta, and then hopefully not hopefully, but when you come to LA, you and I get to sit down and have time, and I will have ceremony with you again. Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
I will talk to you soon. Call me if you need anything.
Absolutely, will do.
Okay. All right, honey.
Blessings to everyone.
Yes, thank you everybody for watching. And again, toadmedicine.org, or what's your email again if they want to have ceremony before the 25th?
Sure, bufofoundation@gmail.com or bufoalvaristoads@gmail.com.
Foundation.
Also, if you're in Atlanta and y'all want to come to lunch with us on Friday, so we have the Atlanta Tantra Institute is hosting a lunch. You can just come down and just sit down and just drop some lunch with Gerry and don't worry about me. I'm always gonna be time to eat. I'm always gonna be there. But yeah, if you're in Atlanta, you want to come to like do a lunch. We're having something Friday, and I think around 2:00. And then we're having something on Monday. And send an email to info. No, just send me a message and I'll send you the inbox. Just leave it on here and then I'll reply with the right thing. Coach Khayr, y'all can find me. Send me a message or what I give it to Jasmine. So that's if you in the A. You don't have to wait until the 25th for the ceremony that we already had arranged. If you want to do something a little earlier, just let us know and we'll get all that set up.
Perfect. All right, you guys. I'll talk to you guys later. I love you both.
Sister, shine on.
Bye. Bye, everybody.